Outnumbered overtime OT, baby. So Harris always here, and she does a very dramatic OT, baby, but I don't quite have that down. So you got my OT, baby. I'm going to have to...
That was your best OT, baby?
Come on, Sandra. Are you a sports gal?
Did I mention that I was in the store at 4 o'clock this morning with Miss Dagen McDowell? Yeah, no, it's been crazy. But thank you. Good show. Fun being here.
Merry post-Christmas, by the way.
Yeah, Merry post-Christmas. Yeah. All right. I'm going to skedaddle.
Now we can unapologetically go for those shoe sales that we were putting off because none of us selfishly shopped for ourselves.
Putting that off, really?
Give us an OT, baby.
Who are you?
OT, baby. This is Outnumbered Overtime. We aren't taking your questions and comments. Like Sandra said, facebook.com/outnumberedfnc. And, of course, you can go to foxnews.com/outnumbered, click on the OT tab, and join the conversation now, which is exactly what I have done. And I'm refreshing your comments as we speak. So, Pete, I want to send it to you. I want to know if you think that it is inappropriate that I, in my heart, want an apology from Japan. Does that make me a bad person?
No.
Short-sighted?
Makes you a patriot. I like what you're saying.
I agree with you.
No, I think your patriotic impulse is, listen, you murdered a bunch of our people in a sneak attack in a war that devastated the world for years.
Yeah.
You allied yourself with a genocidal maniac. Why don't you apologize for that? Like, I can relate to that. I just don't think it's necessary.
And I realize that it's probably an irrational impulse on some level, but I think of the people. I did Girls State and Girls Nation in high school and was fortunate enough to meet men and women from the American Legion and American Legion Auxiliary, of which I am a part because my grandfather was a veteran, God rest his soul. And because at that time in 1989, there were still many more living World War II veterans who were gracious enough to share their stories with us in Oregon and Washington, D.C. when we visited. And it's one of those things, one of those formative experiences that really stays with you. And, and that's when the fire of patriotism is lit at some point in your conscious adult life. And that's when it was for me.
My uncle lied about his age when he was a teenager to enlist in the Navy right after Pearl Harbor.
Like Captain Steve Rogers and Captain America.
A lot, but it sticks with you when you grow up around veterans in your family, and you see. I want to tell this story. There was and I won't get emotional, but I was sitting next to this man when I was flying down in Miami, and he was in those special forces, and he was an older guy and drinking champagne at 8:45 in the morning.
Good man.
And dressed like he was ready to go deer hunting, which I loved.
Yes.
And I looked at him. I just looked at him, and he went, "Calms the nerves." The alcohol. And when he got up to get off the plane, because I don't generally bother people when I'm sitting next to him, and I said, "Thank you for your service," and he said, "I was proud to serve this country."
Yeah.
And I just think that's why we feel like that we should hear an apology.
That's the right impulse, and that's why I would never disagree with it, because we are living in an age now where kids, when do they have that moment?
Yeah.
And do they even have it? And then they reflexively are taught, well, you know what, we shouldn't apologize because, we had internment camps and all this, and we Hiroshima. They muddy the waters, and then you're never a patriot.
Yeah.
So listen, it doesn't mean our country's perfect, and we shouldn't learn from our mistakes. But I love that impulse.
I think there's a difference between being an American patriot and a citizen and war strategy, right? And why decisions are made as a foreign leader or as a head of a military to do certain things. So I think the impulse is spot on.
It feels like an injustice. And I want to respond to some comments that people are making online. And some news organizations have reported that Carrie Fisher has, in fact, passed away. And I think we should talk about this just for a little bit.
We should ask you, because, listen, your reservoir of knowledge in areas like that is deep, and you'll probably be all over this network and elsewhere commenting on who she was and how impactful she was. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, her parents were incredibly famous people, Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. And Postcards from the Edge, which she actually wrote, is a really funny autobiographical film about, how difficult it can be to grow up in the shadow of these two legends.
Well, and Eddie famously left Carrie's mother for Elizabeth Taylor.
Liz Taylor.
It was the it was bigger
beyond
than
Brangelina.
Angelina.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. And when people talked about that story, and there are many people who don't know that part of Hollywood history, but yeah, that's they pointed to. So imagine that public heartbreak that her mother had to endure. But then she became a true cultural icon when she was cast as Princess Leia in Star Wars, that we know came out Episode 4 in 1977, A New Hope, and then the 2 subsequent sequels, and then the horrible prequels. Many of us would like to forget about.
I've forgotten those.
Jar Jar Binks,
but she's a terrific writer.
Yeah.
That book, and it was made into a Mike Nichols film with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. Go watch that if you're not going to go read the book. But she is, in terms of our, because we're roughly the same age, our connection to her, because she was Princess Leia. I mean, that is part of our childhood into adulthood. Yeah.
And she's always been very honest talking about drug addiction and bipolar disorder. Yeah, exactly. And she had this incredible resurgence. And you remember the Star Wars film that came out last year, The Force Awakens, and I thought that J.J. Abrams did such an incredible job of creating this unrequited longing between Captain Leia and or General Leia, sorry, and Han Solo, and it brought tears to my eyes seeing these two, because he really got the best performances out of them and gave so much satisfying closure to the audience.
And she, I mean, not to make light of this, but I know she would want people to, I'm sure she would want people to talk about her dog, Gary Fisher. Her dog, Gary Fisher, he's a French bulldog. Yeah. He travels with her everywhere, and he has his own Instagram account, and we would want people to remember our pets.
It's heartbreaking for her family, obviously, because here is someone who was having another resurgence in a very interesting and decades-long career, who had been so honest and so forthright. And, we see 2 other people, notably, who passed just in the last few weeks, Alan Thicke and George Michael, and all 3 of them apparently passing from heart ailments.
So, all we know is it was a cardiac event that she had on a plane.
Yeah.
And
so my guess as a medical hobbyist is that this is what I'm thinking, that she, and this is pure speculation, that she had a pulmonary embolism. That's what I think. I don't know that. I don't have any confirmation of any kind. Alan Thicke, we know, had an aortic dissection, which tragic for a family, because here's a healthy guy who was playing hockey, and the layers of the aorta leading into the heart, once they completely tear, the heart empties out in 4 pumps. I know this because my father suffered from 2 aortic dissections.
Wow.
One of them, they were able to save him. He had 5 minutes left to live, and they were able to save him in surgery. And the other, unfortunately, that's how he passed.
How about all the people we've lost this year?
Yeah.
You can't even begin to get your head around. I can't. David Bowie and Prince and Merle Haggard and Guy Clark, if you're a country music fan, and
Glenn Frey
and George Martin and Glenn Frey, and just the people who we've lost recently.
Yeah, CNN had an article, The Year the Music Died, and it's interesting. We talk a lot about politics, and I feel like we should never expect to be politically aligned with musicians, but it's okay to be inspired by their music. What do you think?
No, I think so too. I think if you can just put the politics aside, you'll actually very much enjoy what American pop culture has to offer, whether it's country music or any kind of other cultural aspect, which politically people need to pay attention to as well, because culture always is upstream from politics.
That's a great point, but I do always sort of separate the politics of the folks singing from...
You have to, you'll be miserable. You have no entertainment at all.
Yeah. Now, Paul Ryan listens to Rage Against the Machine. And I'm sure that drives them crazy.
Really?
But it's because it makes them feel a certain way. That's what music does. It is pure...
When are we going to see Rage Against the Machine, Paul Ryan?
Yeah, I've seen his P90X videos.
In the house gym, which you can't get into, and Stossel sent me with a camera crew into the bowels of Congress, and first of all, it's unmarked. It's like a secret. That house gym is one of the best kept secrets in all of Washington, D.C. You can't find it. It's not labeled. So we wanted to go in there and see him do a few reps.
Didn't make it, though.
No, the only reps we see are.
He did that
representatives on
video
top.
working out. He did that one video. Was it an ad or was it just a video? He did it.
Spread.
One more.
Please.
Leon Russell died this past year.
Oh,
You
that's
cannot
right.
forget Leon Russell.
Yep.
He was with
Yes,
the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah,
and he
a
wrote
great book, The Wrecking Crew, a book about that group of musicians.
And the documentary is available online. Go
Yeah.
watch the Wrecking Crew.
that is awesome.
The
Hey,
depth
Chip
of your
Basis.
entertainment and pop culture.
Yeah, I know
knowledge
a lot more now.
I mean, Katie and I just got to listen.
Yeah,
to,
it's great.
Glenn
it's
Campbell was in
outstanding.
the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank you so much. And guess what? Outnumbered is on TV tomorrow, noon Eastern. Bye. Love you. Mean it.